Jace's birth, my pregnancy with him, everything was seamless, perfect, no issues whatsoever. It wasn't until he was getting close to about 8 weeks old where we started noticing that he wasn't, having like a favorite toy that he was always reaching out to. He was kind of looking around, but never really at us. He never had kind of gotten out of that like newborn stage with his eyes shifting and things like that. And it was actually one day Brendan had gotten home from work and he was playing with Jace and he's like, I can't wait for that moment when he like starts looking at you and smiling. And my heart kind of sank a little bit because I had already started to kind of feel like something might not have been right. The pediatrician reinforced my fear that something was actually wrong. There was, some concerns that there was an issue with his optic nerve, which kind of sent us down a different path of different specialists. He met with a retinal specialist who actually was the one to confirm clinically that it was LCA. After we had the initial clinical diagnosis, it took another 2 months to get an appointment with the genetic counselor. And then after they did, the blood testing, it was another 2 months. So Jace was about 14 months old when we actually got his confirmed diagnosis of the LCA4, the AIPL1 gene. The unknown of not knowing what was going on with Jace, that was scary because it goes against everything that you try to plan for. So getting that answer, even as difficult as it was, it really was able to kind of set us free a little bit in this journey and let us explore possibilities. Let us just get to enjoy our kid and have fun as a family. We had been doing a lot of research. I had actually come across an article on Sophia Sees Hope at the time, kind of describing another parent's journey through the process of diagnosis and how they described their child as an infant. I'm like, oh my God, that's Jace. And then once we got the confirmed diagnosis that June, I was back on the website. We happened to see that there was the LCA Family Conference happening just that same July, so like weeks away at the time. We signed up for it. We headed to Philly. At the conference, we did a lot of networking. We were shocked to see and get to hear from like so many different families and how warm and welcoming everyone was. At the time of the conference, we did not have a genetic diagnosis yet for Jace, so we were taking lots of notes. We went home knowing that we were going to be meeting with the geneticist in the next couple of weeks. The week before his appointment in Boston, we got the newsletter in the mail, and it actually outlined each of the treatments that were taking place for each version of LCA. And I'm like, this will be a great thing to bring with us. And I also, at the conference, had gotten to meet Michael Yates from Mira GTX. He had given me his contact information on the off chance that Jace had one of the genetic conditions that his team was actually working on. And we're sitting there getting his results read to us, and we're told it's LCA4, it's the AIPL1 gene. And I'm like pointing to the newsletter. I'm like, this is the version that Michael's team's working on. So I contacted Michael right away, and he got me in connection with the actual surgical team at Moorfields Eye Hospital in London. I got an email back from their team saying that they would love to bring Jace out to be able to treat one of his eyes. Jace ended up getting the surgery in his left eye the last day in September of 2020. We haven't been back out to actually see his results clinically, but in terms of what we've been able to see ourselves, we've noticed some amazing progress. Within the first couple of weeks, we noticed that his light perception strengthened. His color perception, maybe some detail, has seemed to have really strengthened. I think his teachers think that we're lying sometimes with like how little vision he was born with, because they'll tell me like, oh, there's a specific toy in class that he has to find every time he's there. And he finds it. We are hoping to be able to get him out this fall so that clinically they can kind of assess his functional vision a bit more. But I think they're really going to be surprised by how much vision he has seemed to have gained.
It's 100% been amazing to just see him kind of learn things and kind of place them in the world, right? And kind of understand what things are to a better degree than he had prior to surgery.
Our hope for him is the same it's always been. We want him to be happy. Like that's it in a nutshell. And I think you can get past all of the other hurdles knowing that your kid is happy. Of course we want him to be tough. We want him to be a good person. We want him to be successful in whatever he does. But at the end of the day, like that's the name of the game, is just making sure that he's as happy as he ever could be.